Hi everyone, it's Kamal here with your June market update. But before we get to that, a quick announcement. I mentioned it in my previous month's market update. As you know, every year I host a picnic during the summer months. So please mark it in your calendars. July 27th, which is a Saturday, I will be hosting my picnic at the Arundel Park, same location as last year, Area E for Edward. And every year I try to change things up. So this year we're going to be having Brazilian food. So if you've never had that Brazilian food, please join us and we'll all try it out at the same time. Previous years I've had magic show. This year we're going to do it differently, and this year we're going to have an animal show. The difference is this is not going to be your cute and cuddly animal. This is going to be more the creepy crawly stuff. So we're going to have stuff like animals like snakes, lizards, spiders. So if you're brave enough, sit at the front or even touch the animals. All right, so we're going to have an animal show, and this is more for the ladies now. Last year I had Amanda the Psychic, which was a big hit, and I know some of you were complaining that you didn't get a chance to get a reading. I'm bringing Amanda back. So if you're one of those ladies that missed out last year, please make sure you line up early so that you don't miss out again. So Amanda the Psychic is going to be there along with Brazilian food and an animal show. It's all taking place July 27. I'll be sending an email invite out. Please RSVP so we know how many people are coming for that. And now here's your June market update. Hi everyone, here's your June market update. Just right off the bat, I'm gonna mention this to you. I mentioned it in my last market update as well. This year, in terms of the housing market, it's been a kind of an odd one. As many of you that watch these videos know that in Ontario where we live, we have a very seasonal market. We typically have the spring market, which is what we're in. March, April, May, June, typically a spring market for a lot of activity. Typically pricing goes up as well. And then we also have our fall market, which takes place from September to October to about first to second week of November, depending on weather. The rest of the time, the markets tend to be slow, either because of weather, cold weather during the winter months, hardly any activity, or if not even July and August during the summer months, because people start taking vacations and all that, and because of that, activity does slow down. Now, having said all that, this has been a strange market. I'm going to run off some numbers to you, okay, some data that has come out. For example, the average price in Mississauga for May this year was $756,465. If you remember the month before, April, it was $767,283. It's a drop of about 1.43%. Again, it's kind of odd because typically the spring months, the data tends to stack upon itself, okay? But in this case here, it's nothing to panic about, but it's a drop of 1.43% on price. Now, there are some other interesting data to look at. If we look at new listings, this is just new properties hitting the market. Compare May this year to May last year. May this year, 2019, we've had a total of 1,732 homes hit the market. May last year we had 1,820 homes, so it's a drop from last year to this year. Supply has actually dropped by 4.84%. Active listings, this is the current listing that is on the market. May of 2019, we've had 1,550 properties that were actively on the market. May of last year, we had 1,736 homes actively listed then. That's a drop of 10.71%. Days on market, how long is it taking to sell a property? May this year is taking 16 days on average. Compare that to April, the month before, it was 16 days. So from that perspective, it hasn't changed. Like I said again, all this, lots of data to digest, but the bottom line is it's been kind of an odd year. Typically, March, April, May, June, this is our spring market. Activity goes up, prices tend to go up, listings tend to drop, and all that kind of activity. Now, we didn't really have a typical spring market. We're in fact in the middle of the spring market still. March, we had a delayed spring market because the weather was still bad. And then about middle of March, the market finally took off. But here's where it gets interesting. The market didn't actually sustain itself. It only went up for about 2 to 2.5 weeks. Okay, activity during that time was crazy. Houses were selling 1, 2, 3 days on the market, that kind of stuff, multiple offers and all that. Now, that went on for 2, 2.5 weeks, and all of a sudden we seem to have hit a wall and activity completely slowed down. Okay, and that's kind of what we've been going through, and the data also proves that. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If you were to just look at data, you would think that we are still in that environment. I get the sense that, especially over the last week, activity is starting to pick up again. So, looking at data, it shows that the market had slowed down. Having said that, especially based on last week's activity and all that, I get the sense the market's starting to pick up again slowly. Now, what does it all mean and where are we headed? Honest truth, I don't think anybody knows, but I think there are some discussions going around that will affect you if you're looking to buy or sell real estate. One of the conversations going around right now is that there might be a rate cut in the US and maybe even here in Canada, a rate cut meaning a reduction in mortgage rates. There might be a good chance of a mortgage reduction in the US, a rate cut in the US. I'm not convinced that in Canada we're gonna see it, but again, that's the conversation that's going on. There's also more talk about a possible recession, especially with the stock market struggling because of all the tariff wars that Trump is starting. I don't think we're gonna see a recession. But again, there's some talk about a potential recession. Again, I personally don't think that's going to happen. The conversation around stress test for mortgage, that is the one consistent thing that we've seen throughout this market. So, long and short of it is, we don't know where the market is going to go. I feel like activity is picking up. That doesn't necessarily mean price is going to pick up or shoot through the roof or anything like that. All it means is that transactions are starting to get done finally after almost 2 months. Alright, so that's your market update for today. And now, as always, if you or someone you know is thinking of buying or selling real estate, I'd love to work with you. Please give me a call. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.